Let me pull up my chat here, see if we got anybody in. Let's see. We live. We are live. But nobody's watching. I don't got anybody in here yet. Are you reading me? Can you hear me? Is anybody out there? What's going on? I don't know if anybody's out there. Dismiss. I did say I wasn't doing a show today. Ah, there we go. Look what we got. Welcome, everybody. Howdy, folks. We got Mr. Bodhisattva, Nelly Nivlock, William Toth. How are you? How is everybody doing? I was gonna skip my show today, which I technically still am, but I figured I was like, I'm gonna skip the show, but maybe do a little. Folky Fest. How are you? Folky Fest. Good morning to you. Great to hear from you. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well out there. How are you? Are you talking to me? How am I? I am just great. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm a little tired. I woke up. I woke up early today again, but I'm just completely exhausted. Good morning, Farm. Oh, sorry, Fam. How are you, Rob? Not John. How are you? Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. How am I? I'm tired. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing set up. I got nothing really. I'm exhausted. I haven't got much sleep in the last few days, and I got a better night's sleep last night, but I still woke up early, and I'm just like, I got nothing in the tank as far as music today. I just so I was going to cancel the show, but I was like, maybe I'll just give a little update. So I figured I'll just go live and give a quick update that way. But I specifically said this is not a show. I'm not playing any music today. I just I can't do it. I can't do it, but I still wanted to talk to you guys and give a little update on what was happening. Let's see. Did you make it to the corporate gig? I did. Everything was a complete success in that regard. That's okay, but an update would be great. Yeah, thank you. That's what we're doing here. What's going on? We got 6 watching. I don't know. It seems better when I use my streaming service for whatever reason. I don't know why that might be, but where to start? So, I guess I'll go way back to the beginning. Is that over the summertime, a good friend, benefactor, who I'd met many years ago, playing in a restaurant, I think in Montauk. I was playing a restaurant in Montauk, and I met a gentleman who was having dinner, who came over and complimented me after the show. They informed me that they actually run a local theater. They ran a local theater out where I lived in eastern Long Island, on the North Fork of Long Island is what we call it over there. And I don't want to give too many details because I don't want to, I want to respect people's privacy. Hold on, riddle me this. Good morning, my curly-haired friend. Would you like to solve a riddle and start your day? Maybe. Yeah, get that in the tank. Get the riddle ready. But let me finish my story first. This gentleman, he informed me that he ran a local theater, and then he really liked what I was doing, and they get a lot of large artists coming through every once in a while, and asked me would I be interested in opening any shows in the future. I said absolutely, I'd love to. So over the years, this gentleman, anytime they got an artist through the theater that he thought would be a good fit to have me on the bill, he'd always be so kind as to ask me to open the show. So I think the first one I did was for Joan Osborne. I did one for William McRae, one for Guy Davis, and John Hammond Jr. And I think there was one other, Roomful of Blues, maybe one other one. But over the years, he threw me a lot of good gigs, theater gigs, something I wasn't doing any of at the time. Getting in front of big audiences, whatnot, and able, tap into other, larger artists' followings. And, I met a lot of people and made a lot of contacts through those gigs over the years. Long story short, this gentleman moved on, and he started running another theater in Connecticut. So over the summertime, he had reached out to me. I hadn't heard from him in a little while, and he told me he's like, "Oh, we're having Nathaniel Rateliff come through the theater, and we think you'd be a great fit to come in and open for him. I think it would be, you know, an awesome opportunity and experience if you can make it down and do it." And I said, "Yeah, no, I was actually you know, my wife and I were both actually big fans of Nathaniel Rateliff, so I jumped at the opportunity." But he was just like, you know, don't get too, you know, don't take my word for this. I think it would be cool if it happens, but you know, I gotta ask them basically, and you know, it's up to them. So I'll run it by, I guess, either Nathaniel or Nathaniel's people, or both, or one or the other, to see if that, you know, it was okay. So I guess we went our separate ways. This was during the summertime, so I had a lot of gigs going on. I didn't think much of it. I didn't hear back for a couple months, and then I think towards the end of the summer, I'd reached out again. And I was just like, you know, I texted him like, you know, thank you again for thinking of me for this opportunity, and just, you know, is there any progress on the request to have me on the show? And even at the time, he said, still haven't heard back yet. You know, he sent, I guess he sent some information over, some music of mine, I suppose, and but he hadn't heard back yet, so he didn't know one way or the other, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle because. I went back. Obviously, this is when I was back in New York at the time. Made my way back to Austin, Texas, and I've been here for a couple months. I had the date on my calendar for all this time. Scatman, what do we got going on here? Maybe I shouldn't even read it, but no, good thing. That was good. I probably shouldn't have read it. Anyway, moving on. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I had the date on my calendar basically, and I think, when was it originally? It was probably 2 or 3 weeks before that date happened. I hadn't heard anything, so I just kind of, you know, I'm like, this is a huge, awesome opportunity. You know, I think maybe ran it by, and they're just like, sorry, not interested. So I figured, okay, it's not happening. You know, I followed up a couple times, I asked a couple times, but you know, I was not going to make a whole thing of it. I appreciated the thought, but I assumed it's probably not going to happen. And then by the time I got the text that I was good to go, I was pretty much 100% convinced that it's not happening, and I was just pretty much running on the idea that it's not happening, basically. And it would have been kind of a little bit of a logistical nightmare getting there because I had again important gigs all booked around that particular date. So anybody got back to me, said, "Hey, we're good to go. Are you ready to go?" And I was just like, "No, I have to book airfare, but I will make sure I am there." So at that point, when I said that, I was just like, I had no idea how much booking the travel would even run me at that point. Wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. But I was just like, whatever happens, I guess, you know, it's a big opportunity. So I just gotta do whatever I have to do to get there, regardless of how much of a nightmare the travel would be, especially with the government shutdown and not even knowing if my flight were going to be canceled. First of all, I couldn't get any nonstop flights, so I got, I guess, 4 total flights just to get there and get back, only transfers, because I didn't have $1,000 to drop on each flight there and back. So I had to get the absolute, not the crappiest flights, because I knew better than to try to fly on either Frontier or Spirit. So I was like, I have to get the most reasonably priced airfare, but on a reputable airline, because I know I've flown plenty of Spirit and Frontier, and I know it's just like, if you do it, they lure you in with a good price, and then you get completely screwed. They're going to either cancel your flight, and they'll just move your flight to like a completely different day. And if I had nothing else going on, that would have been perfectly fine. I wouldn't have even cared. But the thing is, I had this corporate gig that I did last night that, you know, I'm contractually obligated to do. And on top of that, so it would have been a very bad thing if I missed the gig, the corporate gig. And even on top of that, I don't think they would sue me or anything like that, even though some people were concerned about that. I don't think that was what a thing. Really, what I would be most concerned about is having that particular corporate booker never hire me again, because the corporate gigs out here are by far the most lucrative and most of the time easiest gigs that you can get. So I've been doing every completely crappy, unlogical, difficult, long, shitty gigs that I could possibly get my hands on from the second I landed here in Austin, Texas. And I'm talking about since I moved to Austin, Texas. And, over the last year, getting more work through these corporate bookers has been absolutely, what do you call it? Invaluable to me, we'll say. And it's what you get for a corporate gig. It pretty much is like 10 of a shitty regular gig that I might get here in Austin. So again, the corporate stuff has been really good and really keeping me afloat. So I could not afford to screw that up. So, and luckily, long story short, I did not. I'll tell you that right off the get-go. But rewinding back, so I flew out I had 2 gigs, one corporate one on Saturday, and then a regular gig on Sunday. I flew out Monday morning. I woke up at 4 a.m., headed over to the airport to leave at 6 a.m., and everything went off without a hitch. But I was transferring in Charlotte, and then once I got to Charlotte, that's when a little bit of difficulties began. My connecting flight was delayed 2 hours right off the bat. That's not a big deal because I was getting there an hour earlier, so I wasn't worried about going there. I was mostly worried about coming back. So it was delayed 2 hours, and then I finally got on the plane, and we had a delay taking off, and we actually sat on the runway for another 2 hours. So we were actually 4 hours delayed in total. That's when they informed us that LaGuardia that I was flying into is closed. Like they're not accepting any more air traffic, and they don't know when they're going to reopen. That's what we were told while we were sitting on the plane waiting to take off. So we sat there for another 2 hours. I'm not complaining per se. I'm just telling you, this is just how it went. But finally, after 2 hours, they said, okay, we got word that LaGuardia is going to open in 30 minutes. So we can go. That's the good news. The bad news is that we've been sitting idling on the runway for so long that we no longer have enough fuel to get to LaGuardia. So we actually have to go back to the gate and refuel the plane. And then, and then restart our entire place in line to take off, basically. So it ended up being, we went back to the gate, we refueled, and by the time we were back on the runway taking off, it was probably 4.5 hours total delay. So I was expecting to get into LaGuardia, I think originally at like 1 p.m., and I didn't end up getting there till like 6. So flew in. It was pitch black. It was raining. I had to leave the airport and walk to my rental car center. Got there, and then it was about an hour, 15-minute drive up to Ridgefield, Connecticut, where I checked. Ridgefield, Connecticut, by the way, very nice area, beautiful area. Definitely very swanky, we'll say, expensive. So I was looking at the hotels in the area. They were all pretty expensive. So I ended up getting a shitty Days Inn motel outside of town. Creepy Pig. Folk singers are supposed to travel by van. Yeah, well, I would have traveled by van if I had a little bit of time. But like I said, I needed to be there and back within... I needed to be back within 24 hours. Probably like within 18 hours of the end of the concert, I needed to be back in Austin, Texas. So sorry, Creepy Pig. There's no way I was going to make it work with driving. Nelly Nublock says, language, sweetie. Okay, sorry. This is a family show. I forgot this is a family show. And we'll keep the language to a minimum. That goes for all of you too, especially the people putting whatever it is you're putting in the chat there. No harsh language. Thank you. Keep it clean. There and back again. Folk Tales by Rob Europe. Thank you, Night Owl. So, first things first. When I got there, I went to a pizza place and I ordered a lot of pizza because I was quite hungry. I got like 4 slices. I ate 2 and then I put the other 2 in the fridge to eat for breakfast the next day. So. The next day I woke up in Days Inn. Not the best sleep I've ever gotten, but it was fine. It did the job. Checked out at 11. There's a little bit of confusion about my checkout time. It was very funny. I was getting messages from people telling me that it was after 11 o'clock, but they didn't realize that they were actually watching a pre-recorded video. Like they weren't actually watching live; they were watching the video after I'd already been done for about an hour. So I had to clarify that no, I got out of time. I checked out in time of the Days Inn, and then I didn't have anything else to do between there and sound check, which was at 5 p.m. So I was just kind of walking around. I went to this very nice state park called Bennett's Pond State Park. Went for a walk. I took some pictures there, which I'll post on Instagram. I did post some on Instagram already. Yeah, if you guys are interested in any things that was happening, I posted a lot of stuff on Instagram. You can head over there and check it out. That's at Rob Europe Music on Instagram. Europe, EUROPE. And then I did that. It started raining, so I went back to my car, and then I just had to float around from various coffee shops for the next couple hours and just kind of plot through my plans and whatnot. So after about 2 hours or so hanging out at Starbucks, I went. I was, I'm gonna head over there for sound check at 5 p.m. for the 7:30 show. So I went there. The staff was really nice. They let me backstage, and I was out there standing around, and I could hear Nathaniel Rateliff. He was on stage doing sound check at the time. I took a little video. I posted on my story, and then so if you're interested, you can check that out on Instagram as well. And I was just like, I was a little nervous at the time. I was like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what the proper etiquette is because. Again, I've opened for larger acts, obviously over the years, but this guy Nathaniel Rateliff, it's very much a different level. Like the guy is a huge star, basically. So I'm like, I don't know what the etaquette is here. So I kind of just for a couple of hours, I was kind of just sheepishly sitting in a corner backstage, just twiddling my thumbs, just what do? Is there a point where I'm just gonna be sitting there and then some guy in all black is just gonna be walk in front of me hey, Nathaniel wants to see you or something like that, like he's like a mafia don or something. But that didn't quite happen. He finished the sound check. He was on the other side. It was kind of like the backstage. It wraps around the back of the stage, so there's it's a long area. I was on this side, and he was on that side. So he was finished, but he went out the other way. So I didn't see him at that point, and I went on stage and did my sound check. And I guess he had his own crew there. So I did meet some of his crew, and they were the ones helping me set up. And then once that was done, I went back out. And I was like, okay, well, sound check is done. Maybe it was best I didn't try to bother him or talk to him or anything before he got everything situated for himself. But now I'm sitting there. Okay, so it's 2 hours before the show starts. I haven't really talked to anybody. What should I do? Should I just go over and figure it out? So I just kind of slowly, like a scared animal, just started walking over there, and then I'd kind of pace back a little bit, and then go back. Really awkward walk to the very back, which is the middle of the backstage area, where I could see his dressing room area. The door is open, and I can hear people talking and whatnot. And so I kind of hung out back there awkwardly, just looking at the various pictures and photographs of people who've played the theater there. So I was just look at that. Yeah, I'm just I'm not just waiting around here trying to figure out the best way to walk into his dressing room and introduce myself. No, I'm actually just interested in all these photographs. What does this one say? Oh, okay. Is that guy? I don't know who that is, but that's interesting that he played here. So, but eventually I was just oh, here's another funny aside. While I was trying to figure out what the proper etiquette is, I actually asked AI, I asked ChatGPT, what's the etiquette here? And then and according to ChatGPT, it said I should go and introduce myself to be polite, and then and then not wear out my welcome and basically leave. So that was like, okay, that's what ChatGPT says, and I'm just like, it would be stupid to just like completely waste this opportunity and not even try to talk to him a little bit. So I walk over to his dressing room. That's when Courtney calls me, and then we had a little conversation, and then I was like, all right, I put it down, and I'm just like, I'm going, and I walked into the dressing room, and they're all sitting around a table, him and his crew, and I guess they just finished eating. They're having a conversation, and then I was standing in the doorway, and then they all looked over to me, and then he was like, "Oh, hey man, thanks for doing this." And I was just like, "Oh, I introduced myself. I said it's a real honor. I'm a huge fan, and I appreciate you sharing your stage with me tonight." And then he's like, "Yeah, man, cool." Just like he was nice, and I was kind of like I was all right. I was just like, okay, and I was gonna make my way to go, and then he was just like, he stopped me, and he's like, "All right, well, here's the real test. Go over to the cooler, pick yourself out a drink, and we're gonna judge you, basically." So okay, I just went from introduce myself. So he and I would have left. So he gave me like a little bit of a signal, like you can come on in and hang out, basically. So I walked over and I confidently grabbed myself a Diet Coke, and then I guess there was exasperation around the table as everybody was debating and moralizing the I guess what is better, Coke or Pepsi. So I guess I made the right decision there, folks. And we talked about that a little bit, and then he asked me, "All right, second test is how many alarms do you have on your phone?" And then I said, I probably have about 20. I tried to specify that I've never deleted an alarm before, and every alarm that I make, even if I don't use it often, I think maybe one day I'll need it. So this is not the most interesting information, but I'm just telling you how it went. And then, then it kind of devolved back into the conversation they were having. And I won't talk too much about that. I want to respect the privacy of the moment, the event and such. But it was kind of like a thing where they invited me to hang out with them and join in their conversation. But it was also a thing like, well, listen, we're not going to babysit you. We're not going to hold your hand. You can feel free to hang out, but this is what we're doing. And if you want to add something, go ahead. If not, that's cool. So I hung out probably about 20 minutes in there with them, cursorily trying to be a part of the conversation and throwing things in when I could, with also like trying not to be overly present or annoying or anything. So it was good. And, they were very nice. He was cool. And then at a certain point, once it got closer to the show, a bunch of producers came in. Nathaniel left and was talking with them. And then I had to go out because I was going to start the show. So I had to get ready to go. And so I go out. I made my way out to the thing, and out to the stage. I went out there, 7:30. They introduced me. Went out there, played my songs. They wanted me to do 30 minutes, which was good. So I got to do actually a little bit of a longer set. Did 30 minutes. And and listen, the crowd was great. They were really, really cool. They were really supportive. Everybody seemed to really enjoy what I was doing. They gave me a very, very warm welcome, and everybody was super nice and was getting good applause and whatnot. So down the line, it was timed out for 86,000 seconds. Wow, what was that guy doing? That's hilarious. 86,000 seconds. Anyway, sorry. No, the show went awesome, and I left at that point on the stage. I walked out, and then obviously Nathaniel was getting ready to go on right after me, and he just kind of I walked in. His crew said, "Hey man, killer set," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then Nathaniel came out of his dressing room, and he was just like confidently walking past. He just kind of looked at me, smiled, he said, "Cool man, thanks." That's that was the extent of it. And then, but he was walking out to do his set, and I went out into the audience and I watched him, and he did a great show. I'll probably release I'll put a couple of the videos either on maybe the members. I think I'll release them as members only videos, because I don't know, again, I don't want to be, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of a private event, so I don't want to disseminate them like completely publicly, but I can definitely put the videos on my on members shorts. I think that's what I'll do. So we'll consider that. But yeah, he went. I watched the show. It was fantastic. He did great, and everybody loved it. It was nice when I walked in. I got a seat in the audience, and really, I got a very awesome, what do you call it, welcome from the people in the audience. Obviously recognized that I was just on stage, and people were, kind of poking and prodding at me, talking to me, and telling me that how much they loved the set and whatnot, and everyone was really cool. I was like, as soon as I walked in the theater, everyone was coming over and just heaping praise upon me, which felt very nice, very, really great. So the show, after it ended, my stuff was backstage. I was like, okay, maybe I was just like, hopefully I could go back and get a picture with him, get a picture with Nathaniel. That's really, like, at that point I was like, hopefully I can go backstage and get a picture with him. And I went back, and I saw the manager of the theater, who was the gentleman I started the story talking about. And he said, he was like, hey man, you did a fantastic job, and I really loved a lot of the new songs you're doing. You made a lot of new fans tonight. That's what he said to me. And I was like, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And I was talking to him for a little while. And he said, yeah, man, if you're ever interested in coming out and doing this again, I will definitely love to have you back to do more of these. So, and I told him absolutely anytime, but also that would be a contingent on, I guess, who it is. Because it was a little bit of an ordeal doing this. I'm not going to lie. But it was all worth it. Unfortunately, when I got out there, I walked out to the backstage, and Nathaniel, he had his guitar, he had his coat on, and he was walking out, and he passed me in the hallway. He stopped. He said, really cool, man. Thank you so much for doing this again. And then I shook his hand and I said, thank you, man. It was an honor. And then he was out the door. So I did not get a picture, unfortunately. I would have liked, and I didn't want to be like, I don't want to be like the groveling worm, be like, hey man, can I get a picture before you go? I was just like, I can't bring it. It's just not in me to be that guy, unfortunately. So maybe if he was hanging out a little bit and there was a little bit more time to talk, I would have done it. But I could tell from the very start of it that, this guy has been on the road for a very long time. I think he was a little exhausted, a little tired, and from what I understood is this was his last show before heading home for a while. So it was just he was really cool. He was nice, but he was also, it wasn't just like, it would like the best case scenario be like, hey man, that was the greatest thing ever, and you're gonna open me for me wherever we go. No, it was not that. But he was cool, and it was a good experience. Like he definitely, he showed me a level of respect, which I appreciated. But I think also, like, I think it have to. I don't know. I feel like for him, he's probably. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this, but it felt like a little bit I was in a king's court, to say, in a good way, like he was a benevolent king, we'll say. But there's definitely a sense of, like, a sense of status. Like, I'm at a very high level in the music industry, and I will show you a level of respect as a fellow musician. But listen, everybody's got to make their own way, and I'm not, I'm not here to hold your hand or babysit you or anything like that. So I feel like he didn't say any of this. It's just like, this is like what I was thinking in my head. So I feel like I learned a lot just by thinking about it and how I interacted with him. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Again, he was really cool. He just definitely had this very much aura to him, like this. He gave off this just this level of, like, status and confidence that was like very apparent, very obvious, and obviously you see why, because he's a big star. But again, I don't know what else to say. Like, he was nice enough to give me some of his time, talk to me, and treat me, with respect as not a peer, but as a fellow musician. So, you know, that's it. I don't know if anything else will ever come of this, or if we're ever, I don't know if he'll ever think of me again, obviously, but I appreciated. He was really cool, and it was an honor to do that. It was definitely the highlight of my musical career so far, for sure, hands down. Because, like I said, if you're not familiar with him, check out his music. He's Can you add SOB to your list? Congrats, Rob. Thank you, Bodhisattva. I certainly could try. Yeah. So he's got two projects. He does solo stuff, which is just kind of soft acoustic stuff. But then he's also got a band called the Night Sweats, which it's really cool, very kind of like throwback, vintagey, like soul, classic rock type stuff, and it's great stuff. He really is. He's an incredible talent, and yeah, no, it was cool. So I'll leave it there. That part out. Again, I was a little disappointed that I didn't get a picture, but what can you do? And again, I don't want to be that guy who just like, I'm not here to, beg for photographs with people. It's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. If he was like, hey man, you want to get a picture? I would have been like, hell yeah. But no, I did not get a picture. So that was that. With that, I was like, okay, well, I got a long drive back. I got to drive back to LaGuardia. So I don't know, it was like 10 p.m., 10:30. All right, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get back in my rental car. The whole thing was over. I felt emotionally and mentally exhausted by the whole ordeal, but I still had a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of travel ahead of me. So, it was about an hour and 15-minute drive back to LaGuardia. Check into my hotel. Try to get to bed in a reasonable hour, because then I had to wake up at 4:30 a.m. again. So I got, like, I don't know, 4.5 hours of sleep. Woke up the next morning, went and dropped off my rental car, walked over to LaGuardia, through security. Although I have to say, it was flying out on Tuesday morning. LaGuardia was very empty. There wasn't a lot of people there. That's the thing I was most dreading, is waiting through security at LaGuardia. But I did not have to do that. It was literally like, it was a breeze, and I was like, thank goodness that there's no one else flying out this morning. So I got out there, but I was extremely stressed at this point, because I'm like, if my flight is delayed, I am absolutely screwed. Like, sorry, language. I am absolutely. What's a better way of saying that? I'll just say, if I do not get home in time, if there's any delay, it's going to be very bad for me. That's all I was going to say. It's like, it'll be very bad. So I'm like sitting there. I'm checking the thing every few minutes. So far, so good. I was sitting there. I finally got to the gate. Everything's on time. And I'm thinking, okay, so all's good. All's good. I think even the government is supposed to be opening up soon. So hopefully that'll bode well for me. And but still, I was thinking there, like, maybe I should have gotten on an earlier flight just in case. But I already woke up at 4:30 a.m. So it's like, what, I would have literally just not slept at all. Like, they would have had to me just like drive from the theater directly to the airport and just like sleep on a bench or something for 2 hours. And but whatever. But I was thinking maybe I should get on an earlier flight. And there was an earlier flight from Dallas, which was where I had to transfer this time. And ironically is that the earlier flight to Dallas was delayed, but mine, which was right after it, was on time. So if I actually had tried to fly out earlier, I would have been later. So I was like, okay, that's a bit of good luck. Maybe that's a good omen for what's to come. And I got on the flight. Still then, I was like, okay, well, last time we sat on the runway for 4 hours before I left. So I did not do that. We took off on time, and I was like, at that point I felt good and confident, because I'm like, even if I get to Dallas and my flight is canceled, I can rent a car and drive to Austin and still make my gig. So I'm like, that would still suck, because it would just be another unneeded expense, which this trip was already expensive to begin with. But but I'm like, okay, either or, I can get there and I'll be good. So I made it to Dallas, and then my connection was just 40 minutes later. Made it to my connection, took off right on time, and I made it back to Austin, and I was landed in Austin at like 12:45, with absolutely plenty of time to spare. So that was great. Took an Uber back to my hotel. Sorry, my apartment. I'm in an apartment, and then I literally just like lay down on the couch, and I didn't fall asleep because I know like a lot of times if people suggest, why don't you take a nap? And then it's like if I take a nap, I'm just going to be more tired when I wake up. So I did not take a nap, but I did. What do you call it? What do you call it? Yeah, no, I just rested and watched TV basically until it was time to go. And I made it to my gig. Where our corporate gig was at in Barton Creek, and we made it there. It was no problem. I got home. It was like 11 p.m. and I went to sleep. I fell right asleep, and that was much needed rest. So that's where we're at. And now I woke up, and now I'm rambling and yapping a little bit because this is going to be a quick update. But I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. I can't believe that. I'm sorry if this was not the most exciting story, but I'm just trying to give you guys a update because, like I said, I was not going to do a show today, but I wanted to at least tell you guys what was going on and give you an update. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Do we have any questions? How about this? We'll do a little Q&A, and we'll wrap things up after the Q&A. So if you guys have if you have any questions, let's see. Is there a way to do that? Q&A, create a poll. Create a poll. I don't know. What is it about here? All right, I'm taking questions. Otherwise, I'm going to be out of here. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you for being here. Who's this Cobb guy? Are you, what is this? Rob. Cobb, you sound a little familiar. Rob, how are you? How are you, Cobb? Rob. Are you at the mothership? Oh yeah, like, or are you talking about the comedy mothership, or just like I'm in a spaceship? No worries. Anyway, like I said, questions. Freddie T, no. I don't know like where the question is going, but no, that's the answer is no. Bots are out in force today, Rob. Ned subs only. Okay, yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's change to members or subs only. Yeah, subs only for questions. All right, we'll do subscribers for minimum subscribe time. All right, you have to have been subscribed for 20 minutes. Look at that. You're out of here, pal. You're out of here. Okay, where do I start? All right, get your questions in now, starting after Cody's Hey Alan. Creepy Pig says, I'll just go back and play this in super slow motion to make it make sense. I'll just go back and play this in super slow motion to make it make sense. I know that's a commentary on... that must be a commentary on the story being boring, Creepy Pig, but maybe you're just being ironic, whereas that if it was even slower, it'll be more interesting. I don't get it, though. Nelly New Luck said, do you have a gig tonight? No, I don't. No gig tonight. I have a gig tomorrow. I have another corporate thing tomorrow, but no gig tonight. Elites only. That's right. How big was the audience, Rob? All right. Say, King Jan says, how big was the audience? I think it was over 300 people. It was a good size. It wasn't like a huge theater, but it was it was a good sized theater. I want to say there's probably 300 people in attendance. And it's funny because when Nathaniel was playing, he commented on it. It's like, for me, this is like a big gig, and him is just like, he's like, I don't often get to play in venues this small. So he's like, this is a cool, intimate experience. I don't often get to play in rooms this small. So, but yeah, it was about 300. Creepy Pig says, not boring, just a lot of tangents. Yeah, there are a lot of tangents. That's how I do things. But, yeah, thank you, King. It was, probably about 300 people. I posted some pictures on my Instagram. If you don't use Instagram, maybe I'll post them on the members channel or something, so you guys can see. But How we doing here? All right. How was your set? Did you have to cut out a lot? Did you interact with the crowd? I did interact with the crowd a little bit, but I no, I did talk with the crowd. I got some laughs. You know, what did I end up doing? I think I ended up doing. I did clear my mind. The Black Rose, Gears, Grow Old, Buy You a Farm, Where the Weird Folk Grow, Hell Awaits, and Saddle River. So I did 8 songs in total, and that was about 30 minutes. I did talk. I interacted with the crowd. I got a couple of laughs. I don't want to recount exactly what I said because I don't even remember, but we did good. How did you feel after the gig, Rob? Josie says, I felt very. No, sorry. Nellie Lux says Richfield holds 500 people. Yeah, I think it was a packed house. I don't know exactly how many people there. I was an estimation, so maybe it was 500. But yeah, thank you. Josie says, sorry. How did you feel after? What did I just missed it? Where the heck did it go? How did you feel after the gig, Rob? I felt very. I felt a little strange. I felt a little bit like disassociated. I felt a little surreal. I felt good, but I also felt just like exhausted because there was a lot of build up to this whole thing, and I went out there. I went out there. It was a lot of work getting out there, and it was a big opportunity. So I felt good about my set, very positive with how it went, but I also felt like a huge sense of relief when it was over. But I was just tired and I wanted to get home. Oh yeah, no, I'm still, and again, even though that was good, I was still pretty stressed about getting home. So that was like, up until that, I was more focused on the excitement of doing this. And then as soon as that was over, I'm like, oh, that was great. That was great. And then just like, oh my God, I hope I make it back home in time. Because again, it's going to be bad if I don't. So it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag. It was just very, a little stressful. Let's see. How was Bodhisattva? Yeah, did you enter? Sorry, yeah, I read that, Bodhi. Alan Smith, all that matters is you had a good time. Thank you, Alan Smith. I did indeed have a good time. Hold on, is my phone going to die? Oh, hold on. Oh, it's got, hold on. Let me plug my phone in real quick. It's got 5%, so it's about to die. I'll have to hold it, though. Okay. All crowd interactions are copyright of Creepy Pig TM. I would expect nothing less, but how would you know what I said? So you can't copyright what you have no idea. You'd have to. It would be completely speculative on your part. What to copyright and what you think I might have said. Melanie Lux says sold out. Yeah, it was sold out. So yeah, maybe if it's a 500 person capacity, it was sold out. So that would wager to say that maybe it was 500 people. Josie, I can imagine. Yes, a lot of build up indeed. American airports were in chaos. Why is that, Ellen? Gears. Yes, I did play Gears, Tanner. I'll have to look and see if there's any videos anyone might have taken of me. We'll see. But again, nobody was there to see me, so maybe they took some videos, maybe they didn't. I'll find out. Am I missing anything? Let me know if I missed any questions. Bodhisattva says, cut out Mr. I-35. I did, unfortunately, cut Mr. I-35. Also, I think, maybe thought that was a little topical. Tanner, my boy, how you holding up, brother? Yes, Tanner, how are you? How's everything going with you? Are you back? You back home? Happy, healthy? Let us know about that in the chat. But all right, folks. If you got anything else, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, I'm gonna head on out of here because my quick update no show is almost as long as a show. I can't believe I've been talking for 44 minutes. Tanner, hey, how you doing? All right. Yeah, what do we got? I have no fanfare. I can't put in any music, no lobbies. So as soon as I'm done, it's just off. We're done. Tanner Boyd says, I'm hanging in there. How are you, Alan? Hope you're all well. All right. Well, I guess that's everything. Let me just, I'm going to go back a little bit and see if there are any other questions that I missed. Nellie Nillock says, we love the story. I'm glad somebody loves the story. Appreciate it. Oh, Janat John says, stagehands hold all the power. That's true.
They walk around the stage unafraid of anything. All right. Bodhisattva, see you all Friday. Thanks to everybody. Thank you for tuning in, listening to my rambling update. Anybody that watches that show regularly knows you can talk for 45 plus minutes. Alan Smith says, good, Vic. Got a lot of work done. Yes, okay, yeah. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. Thanks for the service. Appreciate it, everybody. We're going to end the stream there. Thank you for the update. No, you're welcome for the update. You thank me for the update. Hit the like button, though, even though I didn't play anything today and there's not a whole lot to like, just a boring, rambling story. Hit the like button regardless, and I'll see you on Friday, everybody. Same time, same place, only on the Morning Folk Mix. I'm your host, Rob Europe. Goodbye. That's all she wrote.